Fix my hair. Oh, gorgeous.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble podcast. My name is Chris Reavers. With me, as always, his name is Mike Fratelloni. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reavers?
I'm okay. I'm okay. And you know what? You came up on Garage Logic the other day because we had the news stories about, and I had flashbacks when Joe was reading this particular story, but basically how the world of THC just isn't going to make it possible here in both the great state of Minnesota, but probably nationwide. And I find it hilarious because all it made me do was remember all of those times and all of those different conversations that you and I would have with all of these different craft brewers, both here in the state of Minnesota, around outstate Minnesota, in different markets, around the world, and how difficult it was at that time. And again, a lot of them have unfortunately not made it through, because we did know that there was going to be a saturation point with that particular product. But how hilarious it was because everyone would basically say the same thing. The government doesn't know what they're doing, and they're over-regulating us to the point where it's really, really difficult for us to make a profit in this world. And it's not complicated. Bartley, our buddy Bartley with Bent Brew Distillery, was one of the people that said, well, I want to do both brewery production and I also want to make spirits, but I can't sell both of them at the same time.
Sure.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he literally had a fence down the middle of his building with two different addresses. One was for the distillery and one was for the brewery.
And that was the state. And I remember him explaining that to us both on the show but also in person and saying, I don't understand why this is not legal in the state for me to do this. Every piece of equipment I have is up to code.
Sure.
Everything I do is top drawer. I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything that anybody else couldn't do in the state of Minnesota, but the state is just saying, nope, you can't do that. And they wouldn't give me a logical reason why.
I think he was able to fight, and he became maybe the first brew distillery.
Oh, for sure.
Right, where he could brew and distill in one location. I mean, with a fence down the middle of it. And I remember he had a sign up on the wall, and it said the loophole. And that fence was the loophole, right?
Yep.
And so if you don't know the story, THC spiked drinks with THC in them, have become a huge market. Massive. I mean, so much so they're all over the place. They're incredibly ubiquitous. Breweries can make them legally right now, and it's incredibly profitable because basically it's just water, carbonated water, with a few drops of flavoring and a few drops of THC in it, right? So the cost to make it is almost like bottling water. It's so inexpensive, right? And so in this last iteration to open back up the government, someone slid in this thing into the paperwork that said these drinks now are federally illegal, so they can't be made. And next year, at the end of next year, they all have to be done. We can't make them anymore. And that took this hemp-derived THC drink, a whole category, and flattened it to nothing. So they do have another year, but after that year, they're done, right?
Yep.
They said, news reports according to WCCO, that's about a $200 million business in Minnesota, the hemp drink business. I don't think that's true. I bet you it's way bigger than that because these drinks are at every bar, every liquor store. They're all over the place.
You think it's bigger than 200 mil?
Fratelloni's that's the size of Fratelloni's. I mean, it's got to be way bigger than our company.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, we're not 200 million. It's got to be way bigger than 200 million.
They do a lot more. Okay, I get what you're saying.
They're in every single liquor store. Fratelloni's has 20 sites. There's hundreds of liquor stores, thousands of liquor stores, bars selling it, and people just. I mean, it's got to be way bigger than that. And they're going to flatten it to nothing. And they said breweries in Minnesota, on average, that make THC-based drinks do about 15% of their business on THC drinks, and liquor stores, about 15% of their gross revenue is from THC-derived drinks, like something that wasn't even around a couple of years ago. And I think even the federal government can't deal drugs and make money.
Right.
I mean, it's so crazy to think. I do believe there might need some regulation, right? Remember Bartley was making 20 milligram drinks?
Yep.
And then sometimes they'd have 2 2 servings in that drink, so it would be 40 milligrams of THC, which I think, I'm not a THC user, but I think 40 milligrams was really a lot.
Yeah.
So they had to get it down to 5 milligrams per drink. And everybody kind of leveled out at 5 milligrams, where it's kind of like the equivalent of drinking a beer, right? You'd feel a little bit of it. But this whole industry is just going to walk away, thus destroying more breweries in Minnesota. I can't believe it.
Well, and the frustrating part, I guess, for me, is the fact that here you had all of these people that were all ready to go, that all had the right mindset and wanted to make this work.
And have been making it work.
And had been making it work. And then at the same time, you've got people stepping in that really don't know anything about the product itself and thinking, well, I know more than you guys do.
Yes.
And I just find that laughable.
And they made it, I think, what we have in Minnesota, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, I think we can have 5 milligrams. And I think the new federal guidelines is like 25 basis points, like 0.25 milligrams. So it's way, way, way less. You could barely get high on it if you tried, right?
And I guess I'll say, I'm probably not their demographic.
I think you are.
Well, but I guess
everybody's their demographic.
But here's why. And maybe it's vastly improved, but I just remember trying one, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, and I really, really didn't like it. Yeah. And I rarely even drink beer anymore.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's it for me. It was just like, this is interesting, and I didn't enjoy it. Like,
I think
at
Bartley
all.
gave me one, and I kept it in my refrigerator for like 2.5 years. I think
that's where I got it from too.
Yeah.
No, this wasn't a Bartley one. This was a different product because it was gifted to me from someone that had come over for some type of holiday celebration.
You might not know this about me, but I like to be in control at all times. I like to control everything. Your personal life, I like to control. My children, I like to control. Everything I like to control. The only person I can't control is my pick. She's uncontrollable.
Right.
That woman is feral. She is just a runner. And I can't do THC drinks because I think, oh my God, what if this feeling never goes away? Like, I know... Do you have a drink what's your go-to drink?
If I do, I do like a Vizzy hard seltzer once in a while.
You switched to seltzer.
Yeah.
You and I were both getting fat during the beer show because we were drinking so much beer, right? But mine is a Tito soda tall, no fruit.
Yep.
Right? I don't want fruit because I heard restaurants never clean the fruit, so why let someone put a dirty...
As a guy that has bartended off and on for the last 20 plus years, I would say that is absolutely true.
You're not supposed to eat the fruit, right?
Unless you watch the bartender cut the lime.
Sure.
That's okay.
Yeah, and still, you just don't know where that fruit's been. No one's cleaned that fruit.
No.
So I drink these tall Tito sodas, and I know that if I have one of them, I feel 4%. If I have 2 of them, I'm 16%. If I have 3 of them, I'm 41%. You know, I know exactly where I'm going with that. THC drinks, I take one sip of it, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a permanent thing. I'm going to feel like this forever. Do you remember when you were a kid when they talked about doing LSD? And there was a story how you never wanted to do LSD because once some kid took LSD and then thought he was an orange, and anytime someone touched him, he felt like he was juicing out orange, and that stuck with me my whole entire life.
You know, I never got that history lesson.
You never heard that?
No.
It must have been an old wives' tale, right?
Okay.
But I remember saying, if you tried acid, you could mentally feel like you're an orange for the rest of your life, and no one could touch you because you're going to juice out orange, right? And that got me. You're right. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to try acid.
Well, I do remember watching the educational drug videos in school. That I do remember, but I don't remember the orange part with LSD.
My favorite story about those drug videos was Howard Stern. He said he was watching, like, a guy came into school with a briefcase. And the guy opened up the briefcase and he said, these are uppers. These things make you stay up for 24 hours. And then these are downers. They make you go to sleep. And Howard said he was so young, he's like, I didn't know what any of these drugs were. But then I thought, well, I want to be up for 24 hours. And it was like the guy was showcasing how to do the drugs.
An instructional manual.
And the kid and Howard was like, I would never have known this stuff. It's like Whippets, right? Those, you know what a Whippet is?
No.
It's those Cool Whip containers that you get at the grocery store.
Okay.
You pop the top off, hold it upright, so the white thing goes upright, and you... Don't do this, kids. You suck the air out of it, and you get like loopy for 10 minutes. Half your brain cells get burned out, right?
But
that was called a Whippet. Well, I didn't know it was that till I watched a 60 Minutes episode of it. I was like, we got one of those in the fridge right now.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go try Whip It. But I'm too much of a puss. I'm going to tell you, I cannot do drugs.
Okay.
It's not built for me. But pretty soon, everyone in Minnesota will not be able to do drugs either because they're going to flatten it out to no profitability.
Okay, this is going to become the old man get off my lawn, but I do think that we will, I mean, I remember when we started going down the road of, legalization here in the state of Minnesota, and I get it. I've got a lot of friends that enjoy their marijuana, and that's fine. But I do think, though, we're going to look back and that's going to be a dark day. Because, just because of what that door or what opening that door is going to eventually lead to. Mm-hmm. Because I can't tell you, I have a now 14-year-old son, and I'm pretty on top of things, sure. Right? Where I monitor internet usage, I monitor all that stuff. Yep. But the vaping craze and all that terrifies me, man. It really does.
My college daughter that goes to University of South Carolina, right? She said, no one's vaping anymore. You know what we're doing? Take a guess what they're doing.
Oh, God. They are THCing it?
No.
What?
Take another guess.
They're not vaping anymore. They're drinking.
Smoking cigarettes.
You're kidding.
No, and I was
Are we back?
I'm like, let's go. She said, yeah, everyone's starting to smoke cigarettes. Pot use is way down at school.
Okay.
Right? They're not drinking. They don't drink hardly at all. Right? I mean, they drink a little bit, right? They're in college. But she said drinking's really low, but everyone is smoking cigarettes. I remember my daughter, sweet girl, she got caught vaping, right? Okay. And what happened is we went to her jacket, and my wife was going through her jacket and pulled out like 10 vaping things. And my daughter says, those aren't mine. I was holding them for everybody.
Sure you were.
At the same time, they were 10 random vaping things. Well, how would you have that many? Right? So I genuinely kind of think everybody handed her vaping thing. But she was the one who got busted with it, right?
Okay.
And I had to say to her, honey, vaping is for 12-year-old boys.
No.
I get it. I get that if I were a boy, I'd be a vapor. I get it. I'd be that guy thinking it's cool, tasting my bubblegum grape vape Chinese mist that's killing my lungs, right? I'd be that kid.
Right.
But an elegant girl, what are you doing? But she had to go through the process along with all of her high school friends, right, when she was in high school, and everybody seemed to vape. But now they've moved on to cigarettes. Not my daughter. She's an angel. She's not smoking, okay. Right?
Of course.
But all of her friends are smoking.
Oh, my goodness. I can simplify things. You know how we do that?
How do you do that?
You just go to Harmony, Minnesota.
Oh, it's so much easier.
You just go to Harmony, Minnesota, and you stock up. In fact, I'm in store for a run. I know I've been teasing with that for some time, but if you go onto the Harmony Spirits Facebook page, and again, Harmony Spirits Facebook page, Harmony Spirits Distillery, go on that Facebook page. It's an extremely active Facebook page as well, but they do a good job of updating upcoming events and whatnot. And again, we're in the middle of November, so a lot of those outdoor events are winding down for the season, but that doesn't mean that things aren't happening down there in Harmony, Minnesota. I have to find a way to get this, Michael. It's the caramel apple with rum. It's a pre-mixed drink that's bottled, and it sounds tremendous. And
it's a pre-done thing?
They do a lot of those. Okay. They do a lot of those pre-mixed cocktails.
Smart.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to my guy, Bo, at my liquor store, Coburn's Liquors in Belle Plaine, Minnesota. And I'm going to say, Bo, you guys got to get this so I don't have to drive all the way down to Harmony. But even if I have to drive all the way down to Harmony, it's worth the trip.
It's a great setup, great people.
So I can say hi to Larry and Damon and the entire crew. And it's a wonderful tasting room, and they do a really good job of rotating those craft cocktails. And the fall menu is still available. You can do that. You can do the Orange Bliss, which is, of course, vodka, OJ, amaretto, and triple sec, the s'mores, the three on the tree. Go find it for yourself. Go to the Harmony Spirits Distillery Facebook page. But like I keep mentioning, what you can really do is continue to go into your local liquor store, continue to ask for the Harmony brand by name. They've got it all. It doesn't matter if you're a rum drinker, vodka, gin. They've got the bourbon barrel-aged strength whiskey. It's all there for you, and it's wonderful handcrafted spirits made right here in the great state of Minnesota. And please do me a favor. Mention to Larry and Damon and the entire crew that the Weekly Scramble podcast sent them your way. We will be right back. You mentioned your daughter. Mm-hmm. I got to ask about your trip to Ole Miss.
So my daughter committed to go to Ole Miss, right?
Yep.
So her and I went down to Alabama to see an Alabama-Tennessee game and tour Alabama.
So cool.
Tour Ole Miss. We did that a month ago, right?
Yep.
When Tennessee played in Alabama. And my daughter was really into Alabama. She's like, hey, I really want to go here. This place is great. And I said, you have to take away the game out of your...
Because that's only 8 times a year or whatever that number is.
You can't have that be the reason you go to Alabama. It was great, right? Great time. But I wanted her to feel what it felt like at Ole Miss.
Is this a weather-related decision in some regards?
Why she wants to go south?
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes the warmth, right?
Gotcha.
But it's not always that warm in Oxford, Mississippi, right?
But it isn't 15 below.
Exactly. It doesn't get that cold. So we go down this last weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We flew in Saturday morning, left Sunday morning, right? So we were only there for about 30 hours or 25 hours or something like that. So we go to the Ole Miss Florida Gators game. But first, we hang out in the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi, right on the middle of the campus. It's like the mall at the University of Minnesota, right?
Sure.
It is packed, Reavers. So packed.
This is the Saturday morning before the football game.
This is tailgating before the football game starts at 6. My daughter said, I don't think anybody will be there. And we got there at like 1 o'clock, and I said, yeah, I bet you there will be. There was 80, 90, 100,000 people there.
Wow.
Right? 70,000 went to the game. 68,000 plus went to the game. There had to be an extra 40, 50,000 people just tailgating. It was so packed, Reavers. All the tents weren't in great lines because the Grove is just like kind of like a grove. It's hilly and dirt, right? It's not. There's not sidewalks.
It's not formal.
It's not. Right. Yeah, it's not formed in any way. It's just kind of this landmass, and people had tents with full chandeliers, big screen TVs, catering that looked like it was a $10,000 catering job, right?
Wow.
In their tents. Yet you had to walk through their tent to get to another tent. Like there sometimes wasn't even a walkway to get around their tent.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, I knew some people down there, right? Some of my friends went to Ole Miss, so I saw them down there. And finally I said, I'm not going to try to reach out to anyone else because it was virtually impossible to find people. Internet didn't work because there were so many people on the internet, so you couldn't really use the internet.
That's cool.
It was so fun. The game, we finally get inside. The pregame, the show, the music, the drone show in the background, right? So we're sitting there between the first and second period, I think.
Quarter.
They put up, first and second quarter. They put up a drone show over one end of the thing with Hottie Toddy and Lane Kiffin, a picture. I mean, drone show is unbelievable, right?
Wow.
The best part about the drone show is all the people who couldn't see the drone show on the far end, because it was behind them, on the far end of the stadium, a huge shooting star shoots across the sky.
No.
But it was fake. It wasn't fake. It was like a real shooting star. It just was absolutely meant to be. There's something about Southern hospitality that is different. I didn't get it. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't really understand Southern people. I thought, why are they talking so slow? What's going on? I didn't get it.
How you doing, hon?
I just, my name's Miss Charlotte, right? I didn't get what the sweetest, the kindest, most generous with their time. Every single person that I would see, like we were in the airport, and I said, hey, did you go to the Ole Miss game? And guys said, yeah, I'm from Kentucky or whatever. And they said, I have some daughters here at school. If your daughter has any questions, here's my cell phone number, my card. Just call me and I'll set you. If that happened 3, 4, 5 times, and I thought no one would do that in Minnesota. We'd be kind to people.
For sure.
We would be kind to people. I was standing in the line to go to the bathroom at the game, right? And there's some drunk guys, right? And there's some Florida fans.
You're at a college football game.
But everyone's being respectful. One of the drunk guys in front of me is an Ole Miss guy, right?
Sure.
He's dressed like Ole Miss, khaki pants and a dress shirt, like with the Ole Miss thing on. That's all what they're wearing, right? And he turns to the guys in front of him, the Florida Gators, and he says, hey, are you having a fun time here at Oxford, Mississippi? And the guys from Florida said, you guys have been the nicest group. We'll come back next year. If we don't play next year, but we would come back in a heartbeat. And the guy from Ole Miss said, that's what we want to hear. We're proud to have you here. Thank you so much for traveling. It was shocking.
You're kidding me.
Shocking. I was like, the hell is going on?
God this guy. Now I got to add this to my bucket list.
This random kid who was talking to some Gators fans wanted to make sure that they were having a good, safe time, and he was so excited to have them come. And instead of, I go back to a Philadelphia Eagles football game where someone's bashing you in the head.
Right.
SEC football makes professional football look stupid. It is so much a head and shoulders above in quality of the show, not quality of the game. Obviously, professional football is another level.
I can help you with one word. It's the passion behind it.
Oh, real passion.
Yeah.
Real cool.
This is families and generations of devotion and dedication. And oh, by the way, I get it. You know, I'm a third generation Viking fan. My sons are going to be fourth generation, but the Vikings got here in 1961.
Yep.
Ole Miss has been around since the 1600s or whatever it's been.
1850 or something. Before we were even a state. We weren't even a state, and they were around. So I rented a hotel in Memphis, right?
Okay.
And then I said, crap, I want to get down. So I gave my hotel room up. I couldn't do anything. I lost my hotel room. I want to get down closer to the campus, and I see that there's a Super 8 in Oxford, Mississippi. It's a 2-star Super 8, but I'm like, it's Oxford. Oxford's a super clean town.
Okay.
So we go down there, and we go into the room, and the room's crappy. Real crappy, right?
Yep.
Drop off. The girls do their makeup, get dressed, and we get ready to go. We run over to the Grove way too early because we were standing basically in the busiest area of the state fair ever, where you're kind of grabbing onto a person's shirt in front of you to walk through, right?
Yep.
And we're in that area. So finally I said, go to the game, do everything. We try to go to the square. You couldn't get a parking spot in the square. If you tried, you just couldn't do it.
Sure.
I said, let's go back to the hotel. We go back to the hotel. It's probably 11 o'clock at this time. Maybe a little
11
earlier.
p.m. or
11
a.m.?
p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, because the game started at 6. We ran
This
around
is
for a little
post game
bit.
and everything.
Post-game.
Okay, gotcha.
So I go back. In the little courtyard at the Super 8, bunch of Spanish guys out grilling, mariachi band music playing. Well, I'm like, crap. I said, it's not going to work. We're not going to be able to sleep here, right? It's just not only, it didn't feel dangerous per se. It just didn't feel like the spot where I'd bring 3 little girls, right?
Sure.
So I said, well, how about this, girls? Let's hop back in the car and drive back up to Memphis because we had to fly out of Memphis anyways. So we get back into Memphis.
And you got your same hotel room back?
Got the same hotel. Had to pay for the room again the second time. the second time. So I paid for 3 hotel rooms technically. Only slept in one of them one night. So it could not have been a better time. If you get a chance to go to USC, South Carolina, Alabama, Ole Miss. Ole Miss was truly something insane. If you get a chance to go down for a game, call me and see if I'm down there, because I'm definitely going to go to more of them. I just need to learn how it works, like how to get into one of the hotels near campus.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to this. That's going to be an absolute must for next fall for me.
Oh,
because now I'm in, like, right now it's tough because once the boys' basketball seasons kick off and we have our first tournament this weekend, basically until spring break, it's really hard for me to be able to plan anything, especially on a weekend. But I am 100% going to do this next fall.
We had so much fun.
Especially if I can fly to Memphis, and you said it's a 2-hour drive.
Hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, well, you could drive to Memphis.
I could just drive to Memphis for crying out loud.
When we got into that hotel, the Super 8, when we came back to the Super 8, all the girls said, let's just sleep in the car. I said, no, we're not sleeping in the car.
We're not doing that.
I can drive. I had 1 beer the whole day, right? Because it was just, I didn't even know where to get a beer in the Grove. I'm sure if I would have walked up to anybody and said, hey, we're brand new here. We're from Minnesota. We're just coming down. Can I have a beer? They would have said, you would join us now.
So
right?
Can I ask you, so is it set up where it's almost like the Mall of America Rotunda? Just the rotunda, not the entire mall. Is it set up kind of like that?
It's a big grassy knoll.
Okay.
That has like a band shell and some other stuff. It's big. I mean, it's acres and acres of space. But there's 100,000 people.
Reason I'm going down that road. So when I was in Dallas for the Thanksgiving game between the Bills and the Cowboys, this is 2018, 19, somewhere in there. And they had, obviously the new Cowboy Stadium. They had just built, because they had just built the Texas Rangers new stadium that was opening in 2020.
Okay.
And they had, because they're right next to each other, and they had built this monstrosity, which is basically like the Mall of America Rotunda. Okay, just the Rotunda.
Sure.
Right? And it's just floors and floors of bars and restaurants, and it's cool in theory, but it just, you can't relax. And there's all sorts of like picture the main floor like an Applebee's on steroids, right? Where there's just booths and there's a stage for a band or whatever. There wasn't any live music that day, but they did have like an MC that would come out and give prizes away or whatever it was. And it was cool, but for me it was like, I got to get out of here. And then we go to the Cowboys game, and I have got to get out of this place. I hated every second of being inside a Cowboys stadium.
Well, this, being outside, right? Obviously the Grove is outside, right? There's people in their tents would have bands for their tent alone.
Okay.
Right, little 3-piece bands. So my youngest daughter, who's a sophomore in high school, I said, here, this would be really nice. One of your sisters is going to go to Ole Miss. Maybe you could go to Ole Miss. You'd have a sister there. It'd be a little easier. She's not sure she wants to go out of state, right?
Sure.
She might want to stick. And I was the same way. I wanted to stick around. And she got down there and she said, there is not a chance I'm going to this school. Not a chance. I mean, it was so busy.
Sure.
So, and then someone came up to her. This beautiful girl came up to her and said, oh my God, I love your dress. You look just gorgeous. And I could see her like, oh, someone, like a real pretty girl, said I look pretty, right? And I said to her, watch out. That's how they get you.
Right.
Someone's nice to you. And then we sit down in the game and she's like, I get it. I get what's going on here. And she's like, I would go here, but I'd have to live here because I wouldn't want to go down to the Grove at noon when the game starts at 6. I'd want to go down to the Grove from 3 to 4 and then go back to my apartment or my dorm,
right,
relax for an hour, and then go back out again, right? Just to even the line to pee was 800 guys long.
Oh my God.
I was like, well, what are you doing? You got to have more bathrooms than this.
Right.
I mean, it was just, I don't know how they did it. The videos, I know I'm talking about this and no one cares about Ole Miss, but it is so damn cool, Reavers. I am so excited for my daughter to get down there.
Yeah, it's the experience of knowing that your kid's going to a very cool place that you know that you can feel safe knowing that she's there, or that she's going to be safe and you're going to be okay with that.
Super clean.
Yeah, it's so I got to bring this up though because you mentioned SC. Tell me you saw the video because we talked about it on GL. Tell me you saw the video of the South Carolina Texas A&M football game in which South Carolina scored a long touchdown.
Yep.
Kid runs up the tunnel, and as he's coming back, the Texas State trooper kind of gives him the elbow.
I think they should arrest him for assault.
Well, they removed him from the game immediately.
Yep.
And Joe said they got to remove his badge because imagine what this guy's doing when
over a stupid football game,
right? And
you're on TV in front of millions of people, and you give someone the shoulder. I think he should have been arrested for assault. I would say, screw you. Screw you.
I'd be interested to see what the school, meaning South Carolina, if they did pursue any type of legal action.
Yeah,
but
they're
I just
not
thought,
going to, bud.
And here's what I thought, and I've said this 10 million times, and I say this as a son of someone that was in law enforcement. No one hates that guy more than a good cop. Because that guy is you're giving ammunition to the anti-defund the police movement.
Yep.
That's all you're doing in that moment. And I know.
Did you see the ball boy video too?
Help me.
Where a ball boy was standing there and the USC scored a touchdown and they were running through and the receiver was kind of going like holding the ball out in his hand and the ball boy smashes the ball out of his hand.
No.
I'm like, you got to be shitting me. Who would do that?
Wow.
Who would do that? Yeah.
We take our football seriously.
They sure do. That could have been a signature win for SC. Absolutely signature win.
And they blew it.
And my daughter was just distraught.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? There's always next week. We are nuts, and wearenutsmn.com. I've made this announcement a couple of times, but worth repeating. Now available at all of your Cub Foods locations and also select Quick Trip locations. You know the product. It's the great family-owned, small batch, hand-roasted, perfect snacks right here, made right here in Minnesota. And you know what? Since 1987, they've been crafting famous toffee nuts and small batch snacks that are great for parties, tailgating, on-the-go snacking, and even holiday gifts. Who doesn't want some first-class nuts for Christmas? Well, you know what? Check out all of their products online at wearenutsmn.com. The maple bourbon toffee almonds. Fellas, listen up. If you're trying to impress the father-in-law, here's all you got to do. You assemble a little gift pack. A little bourbon toffee almonds, a little Harmony Spirits, some Masters Maples, the original toffee peanuts. In fact, I'm due. I got to make a run to Fratelloni's to get the cinnamon toffee peanuts because the boys are out already. But it's wonderful. They've been a great addition to the show here and now available at Cub Foods and also at Quick Trip. So go to wearenutsmn.com and you can also find them at your local favorite retailer, including Lunds & Barley's and also, of course, at Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Store. So we had a bit of breaking news that kind of developed during the end of GL, and then thankfully you reminded me of this, Mike, before we started our show, and then reminded it during this last break because I'm so scatterbrained. So I follow Frederick Mello. He is a reporter for the St. Paul Pioneer Press. the Urban Life City Hall Transit Fund Eats. He does a really good job, and he does a lot of video stuff as well. But federal agents have detained people at St. Paul's Industrial Building. It was a federal raid on the Hampton Avenue Brotex printing warehouse, and it drew a ton of protesters. There was chemical irritants that had to be deployed. It was an ugly scene, and it also included a visit from current mayor Melvin Carter.
Okay.
And so there were videos that were surfacing all over social media, and the only reason I didn't bring it up in the final couple of minutes of GL is Joe would have been livid with me for basically we're winding down the show and I'm referencing social media. So that's the only reason why I didn't bring it up. But
it's a big story.
It is a huge story. And, I'm kind of mixed on this. And I mean, this literally happened. What is this, 3 blocks from us?
Yep.
Not
exactly.
even.
Yep.
I mean, very close to us.
Yep.
And I guess here's what I want to say. And you know a lot more about this as a guy that employs people and whatnot. But I guess here's the problem. I have 2 problems with all of this. The people that want to protest federal agents trying to do their job, I do have a problem with you. I have a problem with you because we've seen countless videos of all these Karens running into vehicles that are occupied by federal agents. And I'll never forget this. This happened like maybe 2 weeks ago. And I'm not saying that this is the case here in St. Paul. There was a video of a woman in a very nice looking 4-door Volvo SUV. And she rams into a federal ICE agent. I believe this is outside of Washington, D.C. And what she doesn't understand is one of the agents got out. I believe there was 3 agents in the vehicle along with the person that they were looking for and then apprehended. And as she ran into the back of this SUV, one of the agents got out and said, "Get out of the car." And so she sheepishly got out of the car. He said, "Do you even realize who's in there?" And she shook her head as if to say no. And he said, "The guy that's in there raped a 12-year-old. Are you okay with that?"
Sure.
And she kind of sunk down and sunk low. Then local law enforcement, as he was saying that, came in behind her and put her in handcuffs. And she starts to scream, "You can't do this to me. I'm a mom. I'm a mom." You're interfering with federal action. Or not federal action, federal activity. And it's just, stop trying to pretend that you're signaling your own virtue. That stuff, I cannot tell you how much that stuff drives me nuts. Now, in this particular case, it's a little bit different because I believe these were, okay, here we go. Mayor Carter was there. Chemical irritant has been deployed as protesters swarm federal agents outside of Brotex Incorporated, where at least 1 person was removed from the building by feds who amassed at nearby Newell Park today. And I have no idea why this person was apprehended by the feds. I have no idea. And I'm not going to pretend to know.
And the people, the feds that were there were wearing DEA police uniforms and FBI uniforms. I don't think there was any ICE uniforms.
So this is obviously a drug bust of some regard.
Don't know.
Well,
right?
if the DEA is involved, that's what they're there for.
You would think. I'm looking at a picture right now of this kid attacking. Look at that. Can you see that picture?
Yeah, that's the same one I was looking at.
Yeah, red-headed kid. He's attacking one of these guys wearing the DEA police uniform, and he's flying, right? He's kind of trying to tackle this cop. I was like, oh, that's not a good thing to do.
Let me interrupt you because I do have audio from Melvin Carter. I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to shut my mic off, Mike, so you can hear it.
So they can just walk in any warehouse, any job, and do whatever they wish to do?
Ostensibly, they need warrants.
Okay.
One of the problems that we've seen around the country is them operating without being willing to show a warrant or even a badge or even their face, something like that. And so that's something that we're really concerned about.
My question is, like, where do the people that work, where's the safety of the employees, like the protection? Because they just literally walk into a job and went in.
They're just walking in.
Like, what's going on with those companies, and they're not supporting their employees, and they're not protecting them?
Well, and that's right. I don't know the specifics. I can't say that I know the specifics of this case. And what we hear from DC is the federal government keeps saying they're tying this to violent crime and violent criminals and things like that. But then we see them go grab a roofing crew or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, Mayor Carter's in a tough spot because he doesn't know
what happened,
the details or what happened or why this person is being apprehended. But that's the problem. Neither do the people that are protesting. You don't know why they're there. You're making an assumption.
Yep.
And I would like to believe that federal agents aren't wasting their time with all those resources going after somebody that's purely innocent. That would be my suspicion.
You're not going to bring dozens of federal agents to go do a bust for one person.
Look at what happened just a couple of months ago right here in Minneapolis. Remember that drug bust that they did where they were being assisted by, I can't remember if it was the city of Minneapolis or Hennepin County law enforcement. I don't know. I can't remember which one, or maybe it was a combination of both. And the absolute barricade of people that were trying to make it so difficult for them to do their job. It was the largest fentanyl bust in the history of the state of Minnesota. But you're going to sit here and be a do-gooder and pretend like this is just a guy trying to make a living. Well, A, he's here illegally, which is a crime.
Yeah, which is a crime.
And B, he's putting drugs in the street that could kill any one of us. Yeah, I'm okay with that guy being taken away. Sorry, call me whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I am totally in favor of deportation of the right people. And I know that sounds dumb, right?
But it shouldn't be controversial.
Well, let's think of if someone was working at this warehouse that they went to today, right?
Yep.
And the guy's been working there for 10 years and he's not documented, right? He's an illegal alien. I don't need to have that guy go. That guy's working. Right?
If he's contributing and he's not doing anything else illegal,
and he's been here for years,
for a while, I'm fine with that too.
I know that's not fair,
But again, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but again, I'm going to say the same thing I said earlier. I highly doubt that a team of DEA officers,
they're not going for him.
They're not going after him. If he's
Yeah.
a contributing member of society, those aren't the people they're going after.
The simple fact is if Donald Trump really wanted to get illegal aliens out, we have something called E-Verify.
Yep.
Like we have this process called E-Verify where every employer has to go E-Verify everyone's social security number, right?
Yep.
Well, you can do that pretty damn quick and you can say anybody who hires someone who's not E-Verified, you're going to potentially get fined $30,000 per employee that's caught or whatever it is.
Yep.
It would be in 2 seconds, then no one can hire those people because they would never want to take the risk, right? But we don't do that. So we don't do that because we know we need them here.
Yep.
We know we need that labor, right? I also don't want people to be slave labor. I don't want somebody working for less than a fair wage on these dangerous and hard jobs, right?
Yep.
But what I do want them to do is all of the people that went to New York, that came across the border and went to New York and got a cell phone and we're getting $400 a night hotel rooms to be there and living off the government dime right off the bat. I want those people not to be able to experience the American dream unless they do it fair through the process. I saw a video the other day of a guy getting his paperwork saying, hey, your status has been approved. You'll be able to get into it. And he just started bawling. He did it the right way.
He wants to live the American dream.
He wants to live the American dream. He did it the right way. And that's so rude. All the other people who just steal what he worked to get.
Yep.
Right? And I just don't, but I also have this incredible compassion for people who have had de facto citizenship for 15 years because they've been here and the government allowed them to come in and, they were filing their paperwork and it's been extended for a long time. I have compassion for those people.
Can I, you know what? Not that I'm trying to go down a particular avenue of anything relating to anything else other than our show, but it's almost funny to watch in real time people start to understand consequences of actions.
Sure.
And start to think like, well, I thought this was going to work out a different way. And now I'm blaming something else or another entity or something for the problems that are now seeping into my everyday life. Well, no, there's a system here.
Sure.
There's rules and there's regulations and there's a practical means of the way things are accomplished. And just because you were explained something that was totally wrong, that's not somebody else's fault.
Sure.
And that's what I find laughable. All these people that are now crying and whining online about having to reapply for your EBT and SNAP, sorry. There's too many people scamming the system. It needs to be vetted.
I didn't hear that. Do they have to reapply?
Well, there is a rumor that that's going to happen. But then, and someone is saying, well, why should I have to go to all that trouble? I've got a reason why that you should have to go to all that trouble. Because and the rest of us are the ones that are paying for it.
Yep.
It would be a lot simpler if you just started to create. And again, I know there are people out there that need those resources. I get that.
And you would give them to them.
And I would, if you needed it and you went through the legal process of applying for it and you were showing all the documentation of why this was important to you, 100%. That's why the program exists. Unfortunately, the number of people that are abusing this system far outweigh the ones that actually need it. When Biden took office, there were 17 million people on SNAP. Right now, that number is 43 million people.
Do you know that's right?
Yes.
Because I thought during President Barack Obama, they had hit 45 million. But did Trump drop?
It dropped significantly after that.
Okay.
And then when this country was flooded and invaded by people that are here illegally, guess what? That number climbed back up again.
I heard a number of 42% of all SNAP benefits are going to illegal aliens.
Yes, Mike.
Is that true? I sure hope that's not
true.
true.
But again, reapply. Are you a legal citizen? Yeah. Okay, now we can start the conversation.
Yeah, let's figure out why you did. Let's figure out how to give you a hand up instead of a handout.
I didn't mean to get all worked up.
You know, the sad part is handouts get the votes, hand ups no one wants.
Right.
I don't want a hand up. I want a handout, and that's sad. And I'm overgeneralizing dramatically, right?
Yeah.
But for the grace of God, you and I don't have to be on SNAP.
Of course, yeah.
Right? But for the grace of God.
Yep.
But I would almost want people to get more money if they really needed it, because they're getting $183 a month per person. That's not an overly large amount of cash.
I mentioned this in passing. I don't think I said this on the show, but I had placed, and I never order anything on Amazon. I placed an order on Amazon today, and when I went to go, hey, choose your payout method, did you know that EBT is an option?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're ordering something that's EBT eligible on Amazon.
Okay. I didn't. So it's got to be food.
Yeah, it's got to be something that's eligible.
Okay,
for
well,
it,
then that makes sense. All
you
right.
know, and so you and I are in your late 40s or whatever. I'm in my 50s, right? There was a time, remember the term government cheese?
Sure.
Like, you would just get things from the government. You would get cheese and milk and bread. And that was enough sustenance to keep you alive. I don't know if that wasn't a better plan, because it made people say, I don't want to eat any more of this cheese. I can if I need to.
Right.
But I want to try to get past this and get my life in order and not buy drugs and do these other things. And I'm not saying people who are on SNAP do drugs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's not the same as when it was a limited amount of people and it was a true safety net and we actually gave them goods.
The system is abused and it needs to be modified.
Yeah, it does. And you know, you're so right. You know one thing that I do know?
What's that, Mike?
What did Snow White say when her photocopier broke down?
What did Snow White say when her photocopier broke down?
Someday my prince will come. Get it? Yes. My prince? Here, wait, I got
different
another
spelling,
one.
Different spelling.
Yeah, I got another one.
It.
What do you call a hen that stares at lettuce?
Mike, what do you call a hen that stares at lettuce?
Chicken Caesar salad. Reavers, you are the best.
Please do us a favor, rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. It helps other people find the show. It helps us out as well, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. His name is Mike Fredoloni. My name is Chris Reavers. Thank you so very much for listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. We'll talk to you again next time. Until then, cheers.